Well, at CES, Sony has announced the PlayStation VR2.
Yeah, they have.
And some kind of fun things about it. OLED display, 2000 by 2040 per eye, panel resolution, OLED displays, 90 hertz and 120 hertz. So I'm guessing, on some games we'll be able to do that. And I'm guessing do you think that's, because the last time they said that, it was added up between each eye. Mm-hmm. They were like, oh, there's 120 hertz,
eye,
and it was 60
so they got to 120
eye.
that way. Yeah.
Right. So I don't know if this still means that, but the only thing that makes me not think it means that is because I said 90. And you're like, well, 90 is 45 frames per second per eye. Like, that's really low. That's not something to write home about. Field of view, approximately 110 degrees. I don't really know what that means, but I know that sometimes when I play a game and I pull it back to 90, I'm like, oh, okay. So 120 is more than that, obviously. This is what I thought was interesting. And I think we talked about this before, but they're going the Oculus Quest route and putting 4 cameras on the headset, like the Oculus Quest. And then they're going to have an IR camera inside looking back at you for per eye tracking. So when you just look with your eyes, it'll switch. And so I wonder if that's like a motion sickness type thing. If like, because we take in the world like that, if that can mimic real world more, maybe you get sick a little bit less. And I'm going to stop right here before I get to the game that was announced, but I like that it's 4 cameras, and I'm going to sound weird here, but it's because you won't need the external camera anymore. You won't need the PlayStation camera to do this anymore.
Oh, really?
But I think it'll still be wired.
Yes.
One of the reasons I like that, though, is because with wired, you don't get any lag. And we've been playing a lot of Oculus Quest in the house lately. The kids have been playing Beat Saber. It feels like at least once a week. And when you cast it, there's just gonna be a delay. And so you can't have the TV turned up. You have to have it turned all the way down so that the person playing Beat Saber can just hear it. I mean, we could turn it up and put somebody in headphones, but it's really cumbersome to put headphones on these little kids. And so we know that I think they announced way back in the day that it was only just going to be one wire. And I like that it's still wired because I think that'll have no lag going to the television. In addition to announcing the PSVR, they announced that there is a game being made specifically for it called Horizon Call of the Mountain. They showed a very quick teaser where you're Aloy and you see one of those tall giraffe-looking things. What is it called?
Flatheads?
Tall neck.
Close.
Tall neck.
I was thinking of screwdrivers.
They do have flat heads, though.
They do have flat heads.
There's a few Phillips in there, too.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's like, it's coming right at us. Walkman head. And so they show just a really quick thing, and that's kind of exciting. That is being made for PSVR 2. Now, of course, as a PSVR owner, you do get a little bummed that you're like, shoot, there's going to be games that I can't play on this. It's going to feel like a generational thing where the Quest is kind of, the store is called the Quest/Quest 2 store, where it feels like, and I don't know that this is true, but it feels like whatever's in the store, you can still play on your Quest, and you can play on your Quest 2. It'll just play better on your Quest 2. Where this feels like this is going to be specifically made for the PSVR 2, and I don't know if it'll be for the first PSVR. You would imagine that because the tracking is very different now, where you can turn 360, even though you have a wire, you have to be careful. But you would imagine that it wouldn't be backwards compatible. Now you would imagine that everything that PSVR 1 can play, PSVR 2 can, but obviously not the other way around. So rumored to be coming out this holiday season. You would imagine, since they announced it, it's not like they would hold out till the end of next year. Since we've been hearing about this new PSVR for a while. So officially out. Ed, would you be in on this? Would you be out on this?
I think I'd be in for it. It'd be different just because
we don't have a price. So I mean, I guess it could be something crazy, but
and up in the office, I don't have the room that I've got in the living room.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I could have it up here and then leave the other one downstairs on the PS4.
Yeah.
For when company comes over. So I definitely,
you sniff
at some point would get
around.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, what about you? You in or out on this?
I don't see myself being day one like I was last go round. I might wait a little while and see. My number one concern is kind of similar to what Ed just said. I'm in a much smaller little office even than I was before, and this is where my PS5 is. I just don't have the room. I mean, maybe I do because I don't have to worry about the camera and the tracking that way, so I might be incorrect in my thinking.
Oh, that's true.
But my thought is that I don't really have the room, especially where because my PS4's over there, PS5's over there. I don't know. In my head, it just doesn't seem like it's going to work. But even so, I was someone who there were like racing games I couldn't do. Anything that was independent walking just didn't work for me. And I mean, granted, it may be better, especially with the eye tracking and higher, even higher refresh rate that might be legit 120 rather than 60 and 60. That makes 120. Yep. It might all be better. I will definitely keep my eyes on it. And the new controllers seem really cool.
Yeah,
I mean, everything about it seems really
controllers
nice.
Are they what they're going to be called?
But I more than likely will not be a day one guy, and I will probably be a mid-generation jump on the train if I do it all, honestly.
Yeah. Didn't it say that even the helmet's going to have, the hat is going to have like a DualSense vibration type stuff going on?
Yeah, is it going to have haptics as well as the controller?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're called the Sense controllers, I think. The ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim, you've dabbled in VR. I know you own a Quest. Do you think this would be something that you would flirt with?
I appreciate the effort that they're doing in this is the next phase for them. I think I'm just spoiled with the Oculus. I have the Oculus 2. It's funny that you mentioned lag because I haven't really experienced a lot of that, and maybe just because I haven't played as much as maybe you or the kids have.
Do you cast it though? I think he's talking about the lag coming in when you cast.
I'm saying only when you cast it to the TV. So like when Remy's playing the Oculus and he's playing Beat Saber and I cast it to the TV, what we're hearing and what we're watching on the screen along with him is off. You know, he'll swipe and it's like, a fraction of a second after that.
So day one, I have never casted to the TV. I've always, had my little bubble
in the hat.
And I just kind of play right in there.
There you go.
Yeah, sorry.
Got him all choked up.
Yeah, right. You got me a little verklempt.
Bubble boy again.
I'll give you a topic to discuss. The progressive revolution was neither progressive nor revolution. Discuss. Anyway, I appreciate the effort. I think what they're doing is great to carry on and to continue to push VR.
Yep.
I just love how easy and convenient the Oculus is. And let's not forget,
it's so convenient. It really is convenient.
It really is. But what I think the price is really going to be everything for this one, because you can get an Oculus at a decent cost.
$300.
Yeah, something like that. So it's got to be in that range. If it's not, I don't know. We'll see.
Well, you got to remember too, for an Oculus, you don't have to buy a PlayStation.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? In PSVR 2, you got to buy a 500 or however much they are.
I think it's going to be $400 plus.
Really? $400?
I'm not, I think you're right. Maybe. Only
the last
because
one was $250, right? $250 brand new when it first launched, the last one?
Wasn't it $250 if you got that bundle that had the controllers and the game, I thought? That's the one I got. I don't remember.
Always came with the controller.
Maybe mine was $3. I don't remember.
Or did it not come with the controllers? Was there a version that didn't come with the Move controller?
Well, because you could play it with just a controller. A lot of games. There were some games that you required the Move, but I think you could buy it without Move. I got the one that bundled it with Move and
me too.
A game or so.
Yep.
But I mean, just the fact that it's the haptic stuff in the hat, the new controllers, and that they're supposed to be, they're whiz-bang razzmatazz with just the DualSense. So these are supposed to be that, but with this. True. And then the fact that the resolution is so much higher and all that other stuff, I think that they'll have enough tech involved with it to, in their minds at least, justify that. But I hear what you're saying. Because I mean, when you're talking about the Quest, I'm not trying to be negative on the Quest, because I think all the things that you guys said is great.
Yeah.
But my cousin, or excuse me, my little nephew got one for Christmas, and this was the first time I had used an Oculus Quest 2. I'd used an Oculus Quest 1. And they're great, and I still contend, just like I did with first generation PSVR. Once you're in there and you start doing the thing, it all fades away. That it's a little, screen doorish, and you can kind of see all that kind of goes away. But I mean, the Quest is what the Quest is, and it's not going to be able to get where the PS5 or, you know, it's something is, and it feels a little bit lower end. And I don't mean that in a negative way, because I think all the pluses outweigh what few little things is. So I think that they can get away from it.
I don't think it's negative because the Vive exists.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they have one that's supposed to be the banging one. This is obviously the throw it in the bag and do it wherever one.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I just don't want somebody to think I'm bad mouthing the Quest, because I think the Quest is cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, really interesting. I'll be surprised. I really don't want that thing to be $400.
Yeah, me
300. 300. I feel like is
I could be way off too. I'm just like throwing it.
Well, no.
Yeah.
I feel you. I mean, I could see that. I could see it being expensive.
Yeah.
But I really hope it's $300. I don't think it's going to be $250. I don't think it's going to be way down there again. But $300, you know, you're looking at $800 entry fee, man. That's a lot of money. But you know, this is for
Plus,
people.
if you need to get some expansion room to save all those games.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of those things where you're like, this obviously is not something for somebody without a PlayStation. Mm-hmm. You don't go get a PS5 to get this. So this is marketing to a person with a PS5 already.
A value-added piece, as it were. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know what they need to do if they're not doing this for PSVR 2? Something that they absolutely need to do that I think, I don't know that it would crazy push the needle, but it would absolutely push the needle for some people. They need to bring back PlayStation Home, and they need to make it a PSVR thing. That thing was wildly popular with a lot of people.
I don't remember what that was.
I think that it was the whole, like a virtual world, kind of like Second Life, where you go in there and there's another world, and you could go to an arcade, and you could go buy clothes, and you could have an apartment, you could build it up, you could go watch movies in the theater, you could watch PlayStation's E3 stuff or CES things in a theater. I mean, there's so many people that like it. There's a team of people that are working on bringing it back and recreating it and all this kind of stuff. Like, I think that would it would have one of those, like, I'm not putting it on the same level as this, but it would have one of those, like, at least online reactions. You'd see people freaking out, like when everybody, they were always like, Final Fantasy VII Remake, is it going to happen? And people got all crazy about it. I think Final Fantasy VII is a way bigger thing, so I'm not saying they're exactly the same. But I mean, you would see one of those like, what? They're bringing it back? It would make news headlines for sure. I think that's something that they should do. It makes total sense for a VR world.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they would absolutely do good to do that.